The stone door thundered shut behind Kellen, the final echo swallowed by a silence so complete it felt like a living thing. He lifted his torch, and the small flame pushed back against the oppressive dark. But only just. The light flickered across ancient carvings that covered the walls, revealing scenes from Valari history he had revered since childhood. He saw the great battles, the wise leaders, the proud warriors who built his civilization, but as he looked closer, a cold dread crept up his spine. Something was terribly wrong. The carvings were changing. The noble expressions on the faces of the Valari warriors twisted into masks of fear, then cruelty, then utter cowardice. The glorious victories he'd memorized were warping into scenes of brutal oppression. History itself was unraveling before his eyes, rewriting every truth he had ever been taught. A voice, ancient and calm, whispered from the very air around him. Order is not truth, it said. Pride is not purpose. Look deeper. Before Kellen could process the words, the stone floor beneath his feet split apart with a deep groan. A chasm opened up, revealing a swirling void of brilliant blue light. A narrow bridge of stone formed, stretching across the abyss. On the far side, a small figure appeared. It was a child, no older than 7, dressed in tattered rags. The child was Valari, and he was crying, his small shoulders shaking with sobs. Kellen's heart ached, and he took a step forward without thinking. Suddenly, a second figure materialized beside the child. It was a Valari leader, clad in gleaming armor. His face a stern, unyielding mask. The leader extended a hand, not to the child, but to Kellen. Leave him, the leader commanded, his voice ringing with authority. He slows the march. Follow your duty. Kellen froze, his body rigid. Every fiber of his being, every lesson, every law he had ever learned, screamed at him to obey. This was the way, this was his purpose. But then, the child looked up, his terror-filled eyes locking with Kellen's. He reached out a small, trembling hand, not in desperation, but with a flicker of hope. Kellen's breath caught in his throat. His heart hammered against his ribs. The tower was watching. His entire life, he had been trained to follow, to obey, to sacrifice for the greater good. But looking at that small, hopeful face, what was the greater good? He looked from the stern leader to the crying child. In that moment, the choice wasn't about duty. It was about what was right. No, Kellen whispered, the word a rebellion against his entire world. He walked across the bridge, knelt, and gently lifted the crying child into his arms. The leader watched, his form wavering, and then dissolved into dust. The terrifying void vanished, and the stone floor became whole again. The child in his arms shimmered, turning into pure, warm light that flowed from his hands and into Kellen's chest. The ancient whisper returned, softer this time. Good. You chose what you believed, not what you were told. A wave of confusion and fear washed over Kellen. This tower wasn't testing his strength or his skill. It was testing his soul.